Justin, I told Jay you wrote 4 pages on him today, in today's paper.
3 too many.
And he believed it.
Kind of stands out to me is just the way you guys are turning people over. I mean, you're looking at numbers that are very comparable to what you did with Press Virginia, except you're not pressing. So, I mean, how much of a difference is this point guard, pressure you're getting from your point guards helping you guys?
Well, Keaty's very good. His defensive pressure is very good. And Malik's good. I think Malik gives us more of a shot on offense. He's really good at getting it at the rim. But I mean, how would you like to? One of those little guys go out and then another one comes in after you. I mean, I think they really wear on people. I mean, if you think about it, pretty good point guard today and probably a real good point guard Oakland, and they both turned it over at an alarming rate if you're the other team.
When Hughley went out with foul trouble 6 minutes in, do you feel like something turned for you guys then?
No, not really. I thought see, we don't really play in the post, so when they spread us, I think they hurt us more than they did when they got a big in there.
Talking about the minutes that Paulie gave you at the end of the first half with Gabe and Kerrigan going through some foul trouble there.
Yeah, well, Paulie had a good practice the other day, and we wanted to give him a shot, and Isaiah wasn't having his best day, so I thought it was a good opportunity to get Paulie in and see what he could do, and particularly what he could do against a Power 5 school.
What did you see from Malik today? Where have you seen him grow as well?
Well, when we I guess it's recruiting. I don't know what the hell you call the portal, but when we were dealing with him about coming here, and I talked to I've known Jeff for a long time, and Jeff said, I don't know how he fits in with you guys because I don't know your personnel, because he really has a scorer's mentality, which he does, which is good, but I kind of started thinking that he wouldn't guard at the other end, and he has guarded at the other end. I mean, his attitude has been phenomenal. He's been great. I mean, he screws up something, he's like, Coach, how am I supposed to handle this? What am I supposed to do with this? I mean, he's been fantastic.
Bob, you have 3 guys who came from Division I, like smaller programs, smaller conferences, and you're putting big minutes on them, potentially. And there's some transition there, I'm sure, like you mentioned, how would Paulie respond to a Power 5? What is the recruiting like? What's the evaluation like, trying to see if it will actually work, or if these are just stats against smaller teams?
Yeah, but I don't, it's kind of who we know. With DC was a leading shot blocker in the country, but that's at a lot lower level. How do you then look and equate that to what happens with the people that we play? And I think at least to this point, I mean, he's been a pretty good rim protector, and that's kind of what we wanted from him. I didn't think because of his physical stature that he was ever going to be a post guy, to root around down there and score. I never thought that. I thought he would be pretty much what he is, a rim protector, a guy who could get a second and maybe third shots, a guy who keep the ball alive on the rim. And he's pretty much done that. I mean, we've got to continue to get better, obviously, with him. And then again, another guy that, you come in being a big fish in a small pond, and all of a sudden you find out there's some damn big fish in this pond. So I better, you know, I better get with it here. And he has. I mean, he's been, I really can't complain about any of those guys that we got from other schools.
What's your, I guess, same process you go through with Paulie? Because, I mean, you played, I guess, for Paulie, a bigger school, but a lot of his career numbers are Manhattan, smaller too.
Well, I took Paulie because Paulie's guy and I have known each other for a long, long time. And he called me. I mean, we didn't actively go out to recruit Paulie. He called me and said, I got one for you, Hugs, you know. And so we started to look at film and so forth. You know, it's rough. I mean, it's rough on those guys. You know, they're accustomed to a certain style of play, and our style is anything but something you can get accustomed to quickly, because we're flying all over the place. We have to, and it's new for them.
How do you model what Jalen Bridges gave you tonight and have him drink out of it every game?
Well, JB wasn't very good to start with, and much to his credit, he didn't pout or sulk or any of that. He said, "Hey, my bad. No, I got you. I know what I got to do," and he did. I think, Bob, you know, in retrospect, I think maybe he was thinking too much about, you know, he missed some shots, and then you know, and particularly if you care, you start to think, what am I doing wrong? You know, how can I fix this? And you spend more time thinking about how to fix it than you do about making a shot. And then I think what happened today was, it was just, he got open. You know, we got some really good penetrating kicks to him, and he didn't think about it. He just jumped up and shot it. Now that to me looked so much more like the Jalen Bridges that we had a year ago than the one that we had prior to this game. I thought he just played. He just played with some freedom and with some confidence.
I happen to notice, you know, the time out, and you were still on the sideline. Jalen's out of the game and on the bench, and he came down and talked to you for a little while. You know, did that have anything to do with the game as such, or with what he was going through?
You know, Bob, we really do have good guys. You know, people say that and they really don't, but we really do. And they want to do right. You know, they want to please people, and I think JB is he's one of those guys. And you know, my thing was, man, just relax. You're going way too fast. You're worrying about too many things. We're going to miss shots, all right? We're going to miss shots. I know that. Taz is going to miss shots. I mean, Taz has missed a bunch of shots. But I sure don't want Taz to stop shooting. Taz today was 6 for 20. That's not very good. But when you think about what he does and when he gets them, I want him to keep shooting it. I want JB to keep shooting it.
This was the first game in front of this kind of crowd for a number of your guys. It's also a rivalry game. Things started to get physical at one point. How do you feel like your team was able to keep the emotions of the moment in check?
Well, you know, we do have guys like Taz and Gabe and those guys that have been here, and they're really good. They're really good about talking to those guys on the floor during a dead ball. If you watch the bench, they're talking to them on the bench, trying to help them. I think those guys help a bunch, but that's what you come here for. You know, you come here to play before 14,100 and play against teams that are ranked in the country in Power 5 schools. You know, you're not playing in Florida. And at least the time I was in Florida, man, it's rough getting anybody to come in and watch. You know, so, and the gyms are way smaller, and obviously the crowds are way smaller. You want that. I mean, you want a chance to play at the highest level of college basketball. So it's not hard at all, because that's why they came here.
Coach, I'm kind of curious here. I mean, you guys won by 15, and obviously the turnovers you guys forced limited Pitt's possessions, but they still shot a pretty good percentage, and they came away with a rebounding advantage. So, I mean, do you walk away from this thinking that this defense is getting better, or, I mean, or a good defensive game, or what do you think there?
Yeah, I think this is how we have to play. You know, we're not big enough to go slug it out with people. So we're gonna have to make them play the way we play. We're gonna have to make them play faster. We're gonna have to make them put their head down and drive it at us. We can't go down there and set up and let them play, you know, through the high post and duck people in and, you know, play with their bigs. We got to kind of try to take their bigs out of the game as much as we possibly can because of the pressure that we're putting on the people on the perimeter. It's you know, think back about it. I mean, we've played a variety of different ways since I've been here because I just want to win. I don't need to write a book. I just want to win.
About the source of a lot of that way you play is Gabe, and he was limited by foul tonight, and you still had that. That has to be encouraging.
I don't know what to do with him, Mike. I think cut his hands off.
I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do it either, but that's about the only way you're going to stop him from fouling and reaching, slapping at people. He changes the game so much, and then all of a sudden he's in foul trouble. And I must have said to him 3 times at practice or more, stop, man, stop. You know, it's one thing to double team the guy, it's another thing to mug him. And there are times when he goes a little overboard. And they're 100% right to call the foul on that night. But there's also times when he does a great job and doesn't foul.
I wasn't picking on him. I meant, like, what do you see from the response from your team, though? Because there was that lack of him, but it didn't seem like the energy went off.
I'm not picking on him either. I'm just telling the truth like you are. I mean, I think as we go along, he'll figure it out. He's a smart guy. He'll stop fouling so much. But then I think he's got a reputation too. And so that's hard. That's hard to get rid of that reputation that you know, people are bitching that you foul, you're too physical, that you're this or that.
Bob, there's been a lot of landmarks for you lately, but to tie Coach Knight, I'm sure that one meant a little bit, right?
Guys, I'm telling you, I know you think it's BS, but I don't think about it. I really don't. I've got great respect for Coach Knight. He's become a good friend of mine. But I'm happy for Coach Knight. You know, I don't think about it. Today, honest to God, I thought more about this lady in New Philadelphia, Ohio, wrote a poem about my father that was like buried in the archive somewhere, and her grandchild found it. Lady passed away, she found it, and she sent it to me, and it's the neatest thing in the world. I just down there talking to my brother about it, you know, it's, I think more about that than I think about, I mean, what difference does it make? Does it really make a difference if I won 902 or 900? Does it matter? Not really.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.